welcome to Family History the Smart Way. I am Heather Stovald, and I have been a child of two genealogists, so I have done genealogy all of my life. I just recently received my mom's genealogy items, and I thought that I'd do an unboxing so that you could share in the joy. The first few items I have are heirloom type items, and they didn't come in a box, so I'd like to start off here. This is a music box that I've inherited. I do need to look through. I know that my mom wrote about the music box in her history, but I believe it was a gift from a childhood friend, but I do need to research that further. And it's got a nice top. I would play it, but I need to research exactly how it works. Then over here, there are three necklaces that belong to my great-grandmother. This is my mother's writing. So it belonged to my great-grandmother, Ellen Smart. She was born as Ellen Brown, and she married William Smart. And I don't think any of these necklaces have any particular monetary worth, but they definitely have sentimental worth on my part. The final item in the heirloom items is, I think, a real treasure. It is a cane that was presented to my great-grandfather, William Smart. He was the husband of Ellen Smart, who owned the necklaces. It has on it a little plaque that gives all of the information about the cane, and it was presented to William Smart for 25 years of service in the Birmingham City Police Force. So that's the physical heirloom type items that I received. And next we're going to just have a quick look at some of the boxes of paperwork that I received, and I haven't looked at those yet. Ready? Among the boxes that I got, I had a couple of tubes and a couple of just rolled up paper. And I'm now going to do an unrolling. So this appears to be a map of Sittington. I might be pronouncing it wrong. I know my mom always says I pronounce the British places incorrectly. But in South Surrey, and it's a reproduction of 1814. It looks like my mom has highlighted a few places. I suspect that that might be where some of our ancestors lived. And it looks like there's a piece of paper that might have some information on that. So the next one, looks like this is also a map. This is a Saxton's map of Wiltshire in 1576. Obviously it's not an original. It's a more recent printing, quite obviously. I know that we had a lot of ancestors in Wiltshire, so I will be looking forward to finding places on this map. Okay, now we have a tube. It looks like it's from a map company, so I think it's probably more maps. And this looks like it's the same the same map from South Cerny with probably some parishes or something like that outlined. And again, there's a piece of paper with probably some information on it. All right, and this is from the Public Record Office in London. And this one I'm going to have to be careful. The customs document says it's photocopies of historic documents. And that's what it looks like it is. So this first one looks like it is it's the SmartLine. I will have to take some time and carefully read that over. And it is not the only document here. This looks like similar to a census. It is from the military. It's a list of people in regiment. Okay, well,
Ward.
Ward. Okay, Ward is another one of my family names. That's for George Ward. There I was looking for Smart, and it wasn't the SmartLine. All right. And allowances to discharge soldiers. So, is George Ward listed here? I am not. Oh.
Ward.
Yep, there we go. Ward George. So I am looking forward to looking through and seeing if there's any other military records I could find. And that is it for the rolled documents. So I received about 4 paper boxes worth of documents and stuff, and obviously we're not going to go through all of them, but we are going to have a quick look. All right, so looks like we've got a mixture here of files and some books. Well, I'm going to be putting books down here in a moment. So this nice big one looks interesting. And not all of my ancestors were Smart. Some of them were Ward, the descendants of Charles and Mary Ward. So let's have a quick look. There's a foreword. Looks like there's a list of the generations and write-up. I bet that there's write-ups on the people that it says write-up to. Descendancy chart. Oh, this is exciting. Although I do have most of this, I'll need to go through and see if I've got everyone that my mom had. It's definitely a large descendancy chart. And look at this. It looks like my mom has actually written thoughts and information that she has. Just flipping through quickly, we have an entry of birth for Charles Ward, and
That's the father.
yeah, okay, that's the father, and Mary Ward, formerly Foote, is the mother. And we have some. This looks like a census record off the top. There's 1871 census. I could probably get a clearer version online, but there's some more write-up. So it looks like my mom did a lot of research on the descendants, and there's a lot of copies of documents. There's Ward there, and Lake is also one of my family names. Just having a quick look. There are a lot of like family group sheets, it looks like, but these write-ups are going to be fantastic from the looks of it. because like we've got a family immigrating to Winnipeg. You know, then someone deciding to move there, someone's death. So there's a lot of information in this book. Okay, having another look, let's just grab out another random book. Local censuses in Wiltshire, the Pew Lists. Okay, so it's likely that there's some of my family members somewhere on this Pew List, or it's possible my mom had bought this book just in case there was. And let's look at the random, let's see here. There's a diploma, and oh, that's a diploma of my mom. Having gotten a Bachelor of Square Dancing. I'm not sure that's an actual, you know, degree. Looks like there's pictures of family members. Oh, here's a treasure. Note that I am keeping track of where these came from, except I lost track of where the diploma came from, but it was, yeah, it went right there. So this is on my dad's side, and it is an original cutting from a newspaper that was showing a picture of the 4 generations of McCaslin family. So I do actually have a digital copy of this photo, but I did not have the newspaper write-up.
That's John, that's John, that's John, and that's John.
Yes, all 4 of those people on the picture are John McCaslin. They do have different middle names, of course, but it was confusing enough, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so we're on to box number 2. It is not Christmas outdoor bulbs, no matter what the box says. I think that this box has been used a couple of times. And it is looking like we found my mom's binders. As I said, my sister took everything out of the binders because it would have been probably about 20 boxes instead of 4. So I'm just going to take the first file folder here so I know where it goes back. And I believe that my mom organized things by families, not necessarily at one specific family, but family lines. Okay, so this, my sister was nice and put labels on. This was the Thomas Habgood and Amy Kimball family. Here, let me put it the right way around for you. So I will have to thank my sister for doing her best to make things easier on me. So we have a family group record, and once I make sure I have all of this information, I will probably be getting rid of old printouts because I can print them out at any point. We have a tab here. It's got someone's name on it.
Thomas Habgood and Amy Kimball, I think.
Yeah, Kimber.
Sorry.
No problems. By the way, that's my daughter Marie, who's being the camera person.
Hello.
And making sure I don't miss important information. So again, more family group sheets. We have a certified copy of birth or death. That looks like a picture of a headstone or a gravestone. Oh, this looks like a will. Looks like some printed out transcription of a marriage license. Probably might be the marriage license itself. No, this is still the will. So this says, I think, Scott family in 1786, and I suspect the red outline might be it. I'll have to go through. In 1788, and sorry about the camera glare. So this looks like we have a fair number of documents. We have a family tree here written out. Oh, it's a really long one. That's like the length of our table almost. So each of these gems I will need to go through. I'll need to decide whether I am keeping it or recycling some of the printed out stuff. See if the things are available online, because my mom would have been printing things off of microfilm most likely. And that's like Thomas Habgood and Mary North, yeah. Oh. All right, so this looks like it was pretty much directly from one of my mom's genealogy binders. I would say I've got a whole box of similar type of records for various family lines to go through. And we will in a moment be off to box number 3. All right, now we're off to box number 3, which, interesting enough, is labeled box number 3, and it is labeled genealogy. It definitely is not shredding or towels or kitchen. I would definitely say this box has been used a few times. And this is not just simple files.
Of course not.
Well, at least not just files. We have a expanding file box.
But look, files.
And look, under banking or bills, we apparently have a lot of certificates of marriages and births and deaths that I am happy for. Same under budget. So I'm not sure exactly how my mom organized, like what went under what file, because there's nothing written on the other side either. But I am saying this has to be hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of certificates, and I will definitely enjoy looking through this. All right, this looks like we have a couple more books here. Not sure what this one is. We're celebrating victory. Oh, 8th of June 1946. That would make some sense.
End of a war?
Well, the war ended in 1945, but they were probably, that would probably be the anniversary of the end of the war. We have some handwritten notes. Oh, I know what the rest of this is. This was actually prepared by me for Mom to research how some of our DNA matches were related. Specifically, how some of my DNA matches were related. My mom, who had not been interested in DNA doing a DNA test at all, decided that she would after I gave her this research report. That also explains why it has that type of binding, because that's the type of binding I use.
Ooh, what's that?
This is called Our Family, Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow, the Story of Our People. I'm not recognizing the names offhand.
There's a
I'm
word
not
on there.
who this is by. But I will need to look through that. I need to look through everything. This looks like a book on the Smart family. George Edward Smart family, which would be my mom's. So this is my grandfather, George Edward Smart, and my grandmother, May Victoria Ward. I believe this would be a couple of the places they lived. And that is my mom and my Uncle Ivan. So we have some family group records, we have a write-up, some pictures. So another treasure. My mom researched for about 40 to 50 years, so there's definitely, she has done a lot of write-ups and work. This is a document with my mother becoming a Canadian citizen. She was born in England and decided to come to Canada with a friend, and I'm glad that she did, because that's where she met my dad. Looks like a lot of this box has CDs in it as well. Some of which might just be purchased ones with records, but it looks like some might also be CDs that my mom made, which kind of is almost confusing to me, because although my mom was very good on the computer for a person born in the 30s, I did not think she'd be able to write to the CD. Okay, this looks like immigration records. Again, my mom does not live at this address. I don't know who that person is, so I'll cover their address. And this is some information from Pier 21 collection. They have a museum, and they help people find out information about people that came to Canada through Pier 21, which I believe is in Halifax. And there's some information here on the Port of Quebec City and the ship, the Homeric. Now I'm wondering if that might be the one my mom came on. But it definitely looks like there's some immigration records I haven't had. Anyway, obviously there's more things in this box, but I think it is now time for us to move on to the last box. Genealogy binders. All right, are we back? So we are looking at box number 4, not box number 16. It says genealogy binders, so it might be the stuff from inside some binders. So let's have a look. And that is what it looks like. More of my mom's genealogy binders. Let's have a look at this envelope here. I'm just going to put something there. Just so the reason I want to make sure I'm keeping things in the same order is there might be a reason for things being in the order they're at. It looks like it says it's the Stewart binder. Stewart's binder. So I do have some Stewart ancestry, but that is on my dad's line. But my mom did do some research on my dad's genealogy even after they were divorced. Okay, so your originals are, well, there we go, an Office Depot ad for you. And okay, so this is not Stewart's. This is a wedding of my grandparents.
Well, there's a Stewart right there. Or not Smart.
No, that's Smart.
Okay. Sorry.
So I now have some printed copies of my parents' or my grandparents' wedding. It's possible that my mom has these photos. My sister at the moment has kept photos, all of my mom's photos to go through. I got the genealogy documents and she got the photos. So it looks like I at least get some printed copies of the photos, and maybe in the future I will get others. So it looks like this is mostly printouts of photos. So the William Smart family. This is my great-grandfather, whose cane I showed you at the beginning of the video. And this very blurry this very blurry picture is my great-grandmother, his wife, whose necklaces I now own. And I'm assuming this is the house they lived in and their children. William Smart actually had a fair number of children. He had 2 wives, and he had 7 or 8 children from his first wife and a few from his second wife, who's my great-grandmother. DNA also shows that he had a child with a housemaid. That was when he was about 17, so he wasn't married at that point. And here's a little closer to the original. So, if I'm not mistaken, this is my grandparents' wedding picture again. This is on kind of a glossier paper. And having a quick look, I think it's another picture from their wedding. So
Free ad.
probably Office Depot probably made some of those. Sutton Coldfield, this is
Parade 1949.
yes, my mom grew up in Sutton Coldfield. I don't know if this happens to be her street, but it would probably be somewhere in the general area. And this looks, I was about to say it looks like it might be a postcard, but it looks like it was
It's a calendar cutout.
That's it.
Well, it has the year 20 on it, so I think it's a calendar cutout.
That would make sense. We've got, it looks like a photocopy from Births and Deaths. And another one. So although I've been doing genealogy for, well, it's a little hard to say because I think I started when I was around 3. In fact, my mom would have me as a baby on a blanket underneath the microfilm machine. But although I've been doing genealogy for, say, 35 to 40 years, like actively researching, my mom definitely has a lot more of the actual documents, whereas I tended to have to make do with indexes. And I think that we will assume the rest of the box is similar. And I am so excited, and it is definitely going to take me a while to go through. all of this, and I'm looking forward to sharing a few of the finds with you in the future. Well, thank you for joining me with doing family history the smart way, and I'm looking forward to sharing various tips and techniques as we go along. And this has been Unboxing My Mother's Genealogy.